You're listening to Jenna Queeries on 100.5 FM, CFRO, Vancouver's Cooperative Radio, and joining us now is Blake. You're going to be doing a thing coming up on October 10th. Can you tell us about it and let us know your pronouns?
Yeah, my name's Blake Tait. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a queer trans man living in Saskatchewan. Our premier put in place some parental inclusion guidelines, including needing parental consent to change a student's name or pronouns that they're referred to at school,
Yeah.
um, as well as removing third-party sexual education from the school system.
hmm
And after a legal battle with UR Pride where an injunction was placed to put it on pause a little bit, our Premier Scott Moe has announced that on Thursday, the 10th, he'll be using the Notwithstanding clause to continue with this legislation. So we have a group of us heading to the legislature in Regina to protest the use of the Notwithstanding clause. It's a clause that we think exists entirely to trample human rights, and in this context, it sets a dangerous precedent. So we're protesting the use of the clause. We've got a handful of us heading down from Saskatoon
hmm
and across the province as well. Mostly folks in Regina will be out though.
Yeah, so it's interesting because when the notwithstanding clause gets used, it's basically admitting that, hey, what we're doing violates the charter. And it was 45 minutes, I think, after the ruling was issued, the injunction, that Mo decided to go ahead and talk about how he's going to bring this notwithstanding clause in. He doesn't think it's constitutional. He doesn't think there's any chance of it being constitutional. I mean, yeah, sure, you're queer trans, you live in the province. Is there a particular connection that you have to this? Why is this issue really important for you?
I came out really young. I came out when I was 14. And I came out at school first because it was a safe place and I knew it was a safe place and I knew that I had safe people there. And that gave me the chance to feel comfortable in my skin and feel a little bit more confident in my identity before I talked to my parents. And so I'm glad that I had the safety of school and that community. But my youngest sister is also a trans woman who came out quite young as well and had the space at school to go through that first. And I think taking that away from kids is taking away privacy, taking away community, taking away the opportunity to think through whether or not something is safe for them,
Yeah,
and taking away the opportunity to stay safe if there is anything at home that might make them unsafe.
yeah. So, what kind of message do you want to send to the government by having this protest?
Succinctly, the message that I want to send is that notwithstanding, we will still exist.
hmm
The notwithstanding clause being used is trampling on human rights fundamentally. And regardless of your use of the clause, the community will still exist and the community will still rally for each other. And the precedent they're setting is putting a bad light on Saskatchewan as a province. I love this province, but I'm so disappointed in this government. And people around the country are disappointed in this government. And that's hard to watch.
Yeah. Is there anything that people from other places could do to help?
I think more than anything, our community needs supports, and being able to support local queer organizations in Saskatchewan is incredible, be it through donations or fundraisers. We've got a lot of really incredible queer organizations in the province. We've got UR Pride, who was the organization that did the legal
hmm
things. We've got Out Saskatoon in Saskatoon, who does a ton of work provincially, not just in Saskatoon. There's Southwest Saskatchewan Pride, who does a lot of work in rural communities. Our community does need help. We're a small province, we're a farming province, we're very working class. We don't get a lot of funding for our queer organizations, and our community doesn't have a lot of money to be giving to our
Yeah.
queer organizations. So they're doing the best they can, but we also have the Mo government and the Sask party that are not going to give money to our queer organizations.
Right. Now, I've been looking at some of the legal filings, and there's a whole bunch of people who sought intervener status to basically help the court make a decision, but lots of them are from outside the province. How does it feel for you as someone who lives in Saskatchewan, as someone who's politically involved in Saskatchewan, to see groups from all around the country become involved?
In all honesty, it's a little bit embarrassing to have groups around the country trying to come in to fix some garbage that our government is putting in place.
Yeah.
It's heartwarming to see, but also embarrassing. I don't like that our province has this bad light shone on it right now. And at the same time, I know that we're a small province, which means our queer community and our trans community is smaller, and we're a very rural community. So there's not enough people who are able to fight for us here. And so I really very much do appreciate all of the help from around the country and all the people that are trying to help. But it's still embarrassing.
Yeah. So I know none of these events, none of these protests happen in a vacuum. There's always people who help out. Or is there anyone you want to thank?
I super first and foremost want to thank Fran Forsberg. She works with Grosvenor Park United Church here in Saskatoon and Saskatoon Pride and Affirming Connections, which is a group of affirming churches that work together to fight for queer rights across the country.
Mhm.
She's an incredible woman, and she's the one that got us the bus so we can take a busload of people from Saskatoon down to Regina, which is incredible. I never would have even thought to do that. So I'm loving her. She's my favorite. And then Rob Butts, I think I'm pronouncing that right. But Rob is also incredible. He's been helping us out along the way. It started with just Fran and I, and Rob has really helped get the word out a little bit more than Fran and I can.
Yeah. And during the protest, is there anything that we who are outside of the province can do?
Well, our protest is happening right before they go into the legislature to put the notwithstanding clause in place. They've
Yeah.
brought back the legislature early,
And that's
but in
unusual, right?
advance of that, yeah, it's super, super weird. In advance of that, though, writing Scott Moe, let him know he's embarrassing our province, writing to anyone in our local government, really. I would say leave the NDP alone right now. They're working on getting together a whole bunch of letters to
Yes.
maybe stall the process a little bit
Yes.
um, from Saskatchewan residents, which I'm really excited about. But writing into our local policymakers, letting them know that they're putting a bad light on our province would be fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. And those letters, I know Action for Canada, they said they wrote 10,000 letters. I don't think that's the case. I know that one of the people in the legal case is currently trying to hide all the evidence by putting everything under publication ban. There's like no chance of that passing. But it'd be good to have as many legitimate letters as possible from our community and allies. So thanks so much. I mean, it sounds like this government's going to do what they're going to do, but the fight is just beginning, and we wish you all luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thanks for having me.
And that was Blake Tait, one of the organizers of the protest against Premier Moe's use of the Notwithstanding Clause event that's going to be happening on October 10th.